It's another day, the sun is shining. Got to know what's going on around you. Wake up, it's the time to motivate your mind. Come with me, let's make this moment brighter. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Come on and wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise.
Good morning, Bahamas. You are up dead early. I can say that because Mark is not here today. And this is your host, Davriel Gardner, on Bahamas at Sunrise, and I want to be the first to wish you a happy Monday. It is Monday, July 17th, and among other things, today is one of my best friends, Sherelle Carroll's birthday, so I want to start out by wishing her a happy birthday. As you can see, I'm flying solo today. Mark was not feeling well, not able to join us, but we miss him very much, and we hope that he will be back on Friday. What's exciting is that I actually saw Mark this weekend, and I think I know why he's not feeling well. I ran into him on Saturday night, and he was out with his entire family watching a movie, and it was, I guess, relatively late, so I'm pretty sure his children may have worn him out with some exciting dad duties. So I'm just gonna, that's my little guess about how Mark wasn't able to join us this week. But I have to say, I saw an incredible movie this weekend. It's called Sound of Freedom, and it stars Jim Caviezel. He was actually the actor who played Jesus in The Passion of the Christ. And what was really interesting about this movie is that it was based on a true story about someone who worked in the Department of Homeland Security, and he caught wind of the story of many children who were actually being sold into slavery by way of human trafficking. And he went through some great lengths to actually rescue one of them in particular, and by extension ended up rescuing well over 100 people, and just bringing awareness to that. And I thought it was so important because this weekend there was actually a story about a young lady who tried to help a toddler that she saw on the side of the road and was presumably kidnapped, and the entire state of Alabama actually rallied around her, and thankfully she was found yesterday by her family, and she's been reunited with them. And so just that story was so inspiring for me and incredibly sobering, and it reminds me that, you know, these things that seem beyond us sometimes, that we can work together to help people and really genuinely save their lives. Apart from that, we had an excellent service at my church yesterday. I have to plug it in. Bahamas Faith Ministries, we had a special service in honor of the 15 signatories of the Bahamas Constitution, and all of their families were represented, and actually 2 of them were able to join us. We had Reverend Philip Bethel from Eleuthera, as well as Mr. Loftus Roker, and it was just an overwhelming time of honor and actually information. There was a mini documentary that was played featuring all of them talking about their stories. Some of the names, honestly, I had never heard until yesterday. And some of the families afterwards said, you know, they were so grateful because sometimes we have the greatest hits when it comes to our national heroes. We have the top 5 that we remember, but not everyone who had a role to play. So it is on YouTube. I do want to plug it in because I actually found it really educational, insightful, and heartwarming. But we do have a great show in store for you today. We're going to talk to Bahamas Harvest Church about the 3rd annual Edmund Moxey Cultural Show and the Lignum Awards, which are coming up this Friday, July 21st. We'll also find out about the great shopping available at the Nassau Cruise Port. Kerry Fountain is also here to discuss the tourism boom that Eleuthera is experiencing, and Hubert Edwards is here to talk about the economy. All this and more after our first check on weather with Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by NUA, the hands-on agency.
Thank you, Davriel, and good morning, Bahamas. And your first look at weather at sunrise. Low-level troughing across the extreme northwest Bahamas, Grand Bahama and Abaco will trigger off pockets of showers and possible thunderstorms over the extreme northwest Bahamas and parts of northwest Bahamas through the day. High pressure continues to be the dominant threat across the island in itself, and you have some breezy conditions across the southeastern island. But for the most part, we're looking at partly sunny, still very warm, still humid, and you can expect a few showers, isolated thunderstorms, mainly over the northwest Bahamas by afternoon. Your high temperature 92, heat index 104. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, still a chance of few nighttime, lingering showers, you look going down to 78 degrees Fahrenheit. And some regional highs and lows across the Caribbean, Barbados 89 and 79. In Jamaica, 93 and 82. In Trinidad, 1976. And the Turks and Caicos Islands, 91 and 78. Across North America, Atlanta, 92 and 68. In Boston, 84 and 71. In Miami, 92 and 81. Dallas, Texas, 103 and 83. And Toronto, Canada, 78 and 60. As you go remain the week, low-level troughing will dissipate for the most part starting tonight into tomorrow. High pressure builds across the islands. So for the most part, we're looking at partly sunny skies, still hot, still humid, but you can expect a short thunderstorm by afternoon. The temperature daytime will be in the low 90s, at nighttime around the 80-degree mark. That puts up your first look at the weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Davriel.
Thanks, Godfrey. Bahamas Harvest Church will be hosting its third annual Edmund Moxey Cultural Show and Lignum Awards this Friday, July 21st. Here to tell us more is Indera Green, a committee member for the Lignum Awards. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So tell us, what is the Edmund Moxey Cultural Show and Lignum Awards? What is the purpose of the event?
Well, we like to say it's a night of Bahamian celebration, wrapped in culture, wrapped in tribute. And it came about some 15 years ago. Every month, every July, Bahamas Harvest Church has All Bahamian Month, where we celebrate all things Bahamian. And on that occasion, Pastor Mario invited Peanuts Taylor to the church so that he could recognize him for his contribution to our culture, especially internationally. And what happened was we were very surprised that not many persons knew about him or the impact he had in extending our culture to the world. And so out of that was born the Lignum Awards, where we honor those who have contributed in some way to our Bahamian society. And then we wrap it all up in a cultural show where we just get to celebrate our culture.
Why is it of such high value for Bahamas Harvest Church to celebrate and educate the public on Bahamian culture?
Well, like you said, it's important because not many persons know of those who have contributed, especially for younger people. You know, I'm sure older persons, they would be aware of it, but sometimes it gets lost when you extend it to the younger persons. And so it's important to recognize persons. And then there are so many persons that sometimes names are missed. So we found it's important to recognize persons in different areas of society and how they contribute to our culture.
So I know that it's the cultural show and the Lignum Awards. Do the Lignum Awards happen within the cultural show, or are they separate?
Yes, the Lignum Awards happens within the cultural show. So we just didn't want to have an award show where we present awards, persons come up and collect it. We wanted to celebrate them as well. And we have 11 honorees this year. And so we have wrapped the whole night into a fantastic cultural show. And those who have been there before can testify to how spectacular it is.
Now tell me, who are some of these nominees that you're going to be honoring this year?
Well, we have 11 of them, like I said, and they're in various areas. So for example, for sports, we have Mary Ann Higgins-Clark. For politics, former Prime Minister Perry Christie. For education, Claudette Roll. Arts and entertainment, Robert Bain. Law and order, Commodore Davy Roll. For the cultural ambassador, we're giving a posthumous award to Joseph Spence. For environmental, we're giving it to Sam Duncombe. For religion, Pastor Alan Lee. For medicine, Barry Rassin. For civic organization, it's J.A. Bahamas. And the big Edmund Moxey Cultural Award this year is going to Percy Vola Francis and the Shell Saxon Superstars.
Oh, this is wonderful news because I am a Shell Saxon superstar, so I love to hear it. Who are some of the entertainers that are going to be performing?
Oh my goodness, listen, we have some names for you. So when we talk about Asano and Gino D, we have the W2 Dance Troupe. We have Ira Store, we have Dana Knowles, we have Harvest Generation, Harvest Dance. We have so many entertainers lined up, and they're all just celebrating our culture in their own unique style.
So if I want to come out to the cultural show, are there tickets? How do I register, sign up, purchase tickets?
Yes, we do have tickets available. They're $25 each, and we do have limited children's tickets, which are $15 for 12 and under. And I did bring a pair of tickets for Bahamas at Sunrise to give away to a special audience member. So we do have those available, and they're available at the church. You can go online, you can call our office and get all the information there.
All right. So this is your third annual
Yes.
Lignum Awards and Cultural Show. How have the past two, I guess, ceremonies been received?
Oh my goodness, when I tell you, the first one we had was before COVID, and persons, I think because it was the first time we put on such a big show, persons didn't know what to expect. When they left, they're like, you have to tell more people about this. You have to do this again. So we came back again last year after COVID, and it was even more spectacular, I would say. Persons were just blown away, even by the performers, and just the pride that came about in the show, celebrating everything about our culture. So persons are always looking forward to it. They're waiting in expectation about what this year will bring, and I know it will be a show to be remembered.
How does it feel to come into, you know, a spectacular show, like you said, that celebrates our culture in this 50th year of our independence?
That's the thing that's so grand, isn't it? I mean, this is the moment. This is our Jubilee year, like we say, the 50th year, the 50th anniversary of our independence. And so I think the show is now even more meaningful for a lot of persons, and especially as we want to take our country into the future and where it needs to go and what we need to do to progress. So I think this cultural show will speak to that. We have some drama performances, we have some dance performances that just invites you to envision and to dream about what could be for our country.
You know, I'm sure that any sort of undertaking of this magnitude requires a lot of help and it requires a lot of funds. Do you have any sponsors that have been able to help you?
We do have sponsors, and we definitely have to thank our sponsors for helping us out with this. Some of our sponsors are Doctors Hospital, GastroCare, Bahamas Waste, 9 to 5, Alexio Knowles & Co., and Crystal Select.
Absolutely. I remember in my time at Cable Bahamas, we were sponsors at least to one of the Lignum Awards, and I was very impressed just with the level of production. I think we had to have our video in about a month in advance. We had to be, everything had to be just on point because it was such an excellently produced show. So I have no doubt that it will remain in that same vein this year.
Yes, thank you so much. And I also want to mention that we are giving out 2 scholarships as a result of the proceeds from this. So it's the Edmund Moxey Cultural Show. As we know, he is considered the father of culture. And so we're giving out 2 scholarships. One goes to a student of education at UB and a student of percussion at UB.
I love that. That's a really unique niche vein because you don't necessarily think of a percussion student.
Yes.
But that is, and that's so important to our culture, you know, to keep music alive, to keep Bahamian music in particular alive.
Correct.
Well, we are excited for the show. I think I have to figure out my way to be there this Friday. And what time does it start?
It starts at 7 p.m. and we have lively events. You don't want to be late. You want to be there on time. Make sure you are seated, because even though we say we start 7, we have some things that are happening before. So you want to be there, be seated, but we kick off at 7.
Now, is this open seating, so you need to get there to get the best seat, or is it assigned seating?
We do have open seating. We do have some reserved seating for our dignitaries and special guests, the honorees and their families, and members of the Lignum College, those who have been awarded in the past. But other than that, it's open seating, so you want to get there and get the best seat in the house.
Okay, so it sounds like the Lignum Awards, the Edmund Moxey Cultural Show, and Lignum Awards, you want to get there on time so that you don't miss a minute of the action and that you can get the best seat in the house. Indera, thank you for joining us on Bahamas at Sunrise.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
With so much going on in the world today, only accepting cash at your business can be risky. Let Fidelity offer you and your customers safety, convenience, and the flexibility of a fixed or mobile terminal. Take it with you, on the move and on the go, because business should never stop. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit us at any of our branches.
Attention customers, next Tuesday, a major hurricane will cause complete confusion and chaos throughout the entire Bahamas. Water, phone, and internet services will be in short supply. Definite data loss is expected to all local and family island businesses.
Disasters don't plan ahead, but you can. Be ready with push-to-talk service that keeps you connected with your workforce with a simple push of a button. Contact the experts today at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Island.
Hi, I'm Ria Christina, and I'm super excited to be the new host of You and Your Money, local international banks that has actually been closing some of their branches. It actually gives me an opportunity to share my views, my take on the financial matters. Even when we think about what's happening globally, we still have a lot of work to do in terms of having to educate business owners as to the importance, the economic impact, and how it is that we can look at improving the Bahamian economy. $1 billion. That's how much we spend every year importing food in this country. It also gives me an opportunity to have conversations, and that's meaningful conversations with thought leaders within our community, even having to see how it is that we can work together or even the opportunities that may exist for many Bahamians. So I'm excited to be here and looking forward to the great conversations that's to come.
Welcome back. In case you haven't gotten the memo, the Nassau Cruise Port is open. And it's open to Bahamians. That means you can drop by and check it out anytime and see the art exhibition, have some food, and even do some excellent shopping. Shout out to House of Assembly. We did an entire show at the Nassau Cruise Port for Independence. And here's a sneak peek at some of the shopping that you can look forward to.
The newly opened Nassau Cruise Port has assembled some of the finest Bahamian stores in their Port Plaza area for an authentically Bahamian shopping experience. A few of the stores include House of Assembly, My Ocean, World of Greycliff, and Bahama Handprints.
So we've been open since 1966, and it started by 2 local Bahamians. And we have over 160 prints, all designed by Bahamians. So all of our fabrics, all of our clothing, and our bags are all prints that are designed by Bahamians only. So for our clothing, they're all made here in Nassau at our Harbor Bay location. So once the fabric is printed and cured, then we would actually take it upstairs to our cutters and sewers, and then they would be constructed right there on site at our Harbor Bay location. For our bags, we also have a wide variety in the styles and colors. So there's a lot to offer for our bags, for fabric, and everything else that we have here.
My Ocean, which is created by Tanya Clanaris, she's a designer and artist, and it was really about her sharing, her story, being Bahamian, and also connecting with people. So we really want to connect with people when they come in. So you're getting a cultural heritage experience of the Bahamas, and we want to connect you to it. So it's really about, think about our islands of the Bahamas and how we connect together, and the ocean binds us together. And this is My Ocean, and so My Ocean is everyone's story. So when you come into My Ocean, meet our people, our team. It's about meeting them and finding out their Bahamian experience and why they're Bahamian and what makes Bahamian. And then take a look at our products. And our products will then, they're basically reflecting, and they infuse the smells, the colors, the shapes, the textures, and the spirit of the Bahamas. So when you come in, there's soaps. We have beautiful soaps, all different colors and smells. We have ceramics that are, all done handmade at the studio down here. We have our spa collection. And so you can come in and you'll get a sense of what the Bahamas is through our products.
This is our flagship location. It's currently our only retail location in the Bahamas for House of Assembly, which is a luxury lifestyle brand centered around handcrafted Bahamian products. Currently, our main items are accessories, which is what we're known for. Our printed accessories, all of our prints are done in-house, and we're known for our signature colors. So like, for example, our banana leaf print, our hibiscus print, and then we also have a newly released pineapple print as well for independence.
So the whirl of Greycliff embodies everything that Greycliff produces. So we have a whirl of Greycliff tree that has, if you look at it, it has the cacao beans for chocolate, the tobacco leaves for cigars, and the grape leaves for wine. Here at Greycliff, we make everything on property, we make everything local, and so when you walk into the store, it has everything Greycliff. Again, it has our chocolate, our beautiful decadent chocolate. It has our cigars, and we have a roller that rolls fresh cigars, and we also have our wines that we make here as well.
The authentic Bahamian merchandise is very appealing to visitors and locals.
People that come in that are quick, like here, they get quickly amazed, and we'd love for them to stay a little longer. But they have a lot of places to go. But it's I think they're amazed by kind of what was created, and I think if they get into the ceramics and they see sea fans with the coral bowls and stuff like that, they start going, oh yeah, and then the different colors. So I think we offer that to them.
So I think our products and our brand shares our culture in a new way. So typically I feel as though everything, it's very logo at Bahamas, it's very logo centric and it's very typical, but I feel as though our designs vary in that it expresses the Bahamian culture, but in a very minimalist and modern way. So for example, we incorporate it into the colors that we use, the prints that we use. They're a bit more delicate and abstract rather than, kind of in your face. Our top sellers to date are definitely our tote bags. Women love them because they're the perfect size, either as a carry-on, or a lot of corporate women use them, such as lawyers, doctors, kind of as their go-to carry-all for work, because it's great for carrying, a lot of different things. And I would say second to that would be our pouches and then our espadrilles, which people seem to love.
Tourists are responding phenomenally. They love the colors, the prints, and the fact that it's made locally is something that they truly love. We've had a lot of good feedback on all of our products. For the products here, we've been getting a lot of clothing purchases at our other locations for Bahamians. They love to be able to say, okay, this is Bahamian made. This is something that is part of our heritage. We've been open since 1966, so this is truly Bahamian. Our bags are often a great hit for many Bahamians. We've been having a lot of Bahamians come in, they do them as gifts as well as for personal items as well.
So the response that Greycliff gets from all of our visitors is absolutely phenomenal. We've recently launched a couple of years ago our Chocolatini brand that I didn't mention it previously, but that brand is where we serve decadent chocolate drinks. It's made from 100% chocolate, whether that's milk or dark, and it's mixed with an ice cream base, and it's absolutely delicious. Besides that, the kids and adults, and you can also make it an adult drink. You can add a shot of rum to it, whatever you would like. But besides that, I think the response that people get from this is, it's mind-blowing. They are just mesmerized by all of the things and the products that Greycliff has to offer and that can be made here in the Bahamas.
Merchants are enthusiastic about this new innovative space.
I think the port presents a very unique experience, not just for visitors, but for Bahamians as well. To date, I don't know of any location in the Bahamas that has kind of gathered all of these luxury Bahamian, authentic Bahamian brands in one place. And then again, it's not just the 5 largest stores. There's an art gallery, there's Bahamian food, there's Bahamian entertainment. So I think it's a very unique experience, not just in terms for shopping, but for entertainment and culture as well.
How many public spaces do we have? I think this is amazing that they're offering it to to our public, and that, I'm even able to come out here, we can enjoy some music and we can see everything. I don't know. And I think it's important for, all cultures to come together. So I don't know. I just think we should come out here and see what we have to offer, Being it's hard to be a part of our cultural heritage and what it is. People think it's just Junkanoo and everything else, but no, it's about our natural landscape. It's the elements of the Bahamas, and so we're trying to show that here.
I would encourage Bahamians to come out and visit the Nassau cruise port, and especially Great Cliff, simply because it's a part of our culture. If you look around, the design, the architect, and all of the products that we offer here, it embodies what the Bahamas is, right? Like some of the restaurants that's about to be open, some of the things that we do. If you look at some of our paraphernalia, some of our shirts, they're all embodying everything Bahamian. So everything's locally made, everything tastes delicious, everything's beautifully made, and it's just a fun atmosphere. It's family friendly, or if you just want to come out with a couple friends, it's a great opportunity to just hang, chill, and get to really know what Nassau Cruise Port is.
So come and enjoy the authentically Bahamian shopping experience at the new Nassau Cruise Port.
The Euro device is very affordable. It allows you to increase your internet connectivity. You are able to do away with the buffering, say goodbye to the dead spots. It gives them a much more stable connection. Their customers are able to view their digital menus. The establishment is able to stream. It allows for everyone, the customers and the business operators, to have a much more robust and stable internet connectivity.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best-kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
The islands of the Bahamas. Fly away.
To Bahamas at Sunrise. It is a marvelous Monday, this happy Monday that we're having, Monday, July 17th. We've had an excellent show so far, despite the fact that I'm flying solo today. We got to talk a little bit about the exciting Edmund Moxey Cultural Show, which is coming up this Friday at Bahamas Harvest Church, as well as the exciting things that are happening at the Nassau Cruise Port, some excellent shopping. When we were actually taping the show, I had to fight every minute not to be distracted by the beautiful things that are on sale. So you definitely want to go out there and check it out this weekend, and it's just a great time to spend with your family. We have some exciting things coming up in the second half of the show. We're going to talk to Kerry Fountain, who's going to discuss the tourism boom that is happening in Eleuthera, as well as Hubert Edwards, who's going to discuss the state of our economy. But before all that, we'll take a second look at weather with Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by NUA, the hands-on agency.
Thank you, Gabrielle, and good morning, Bahamas. In your second look at weather at sunrise, a trip around the tropics, and we have one system that we're looking at this time, no threat to Bahamas. We do have subtropical depression, Dawn, that's some 1,080 miles to the west of the Azores, moving towards the north at 9 miles per hour, those winds at 35 miles per hour. That will move away from us. Elsewhere, tropical cyclone formation not expected during the next 7 days. On the local scene, still have low level troughing across the extreme northwest Bahamas, and that's going to trigger pockets of showers and thunderstorms, particularly northwest Bahamas, over the next 24 hours. Over the central southeastern islands, high pressure dominating the features, so lots of sunshine, hot temperatures, humid conditions, and yes, there's a chance of an afternoon shower thunderstorm popping up. In your marine forecast today, those winds southerly at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet in northwest Bahamas, east to southeast at 15 knots, sea 3 to 5 feet over the central Bahamas, 15 to 20 knots, seas 47 feet over the southeastern islands. On Tuesday, across all the islands, winds east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 for the northwest Bahamas, 15 knots, sea 3 to 5 feet over the central and southeastern islands. On Wednesday, those winds southeast-south at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 for the northwest Bahamas, continuing east to southeast at 15 to 20 knots, sea 4 to 6 feet over the southeastern islands. Your tides. You can expect a high tide at 8:19 this morning. Your next low tide will be at 2:19 this afternoon. High gain tonight at 8:45. Sunset a minute past 8 this evening. Rises more at 6:30. UV index 9. Your water temperature 84 degrees Fahrenheit. And the moon phase, no moon. External look, still have that troughing hanging around tomorrow. High pressure becomes a dominant feature, so you're looking at partly sunny skies, hot and humid. And yes, a shower or two by the afternoon. And those temperatures daytime will be in the lower 90s, at nighttime around the 80-degree mark. That was dropping and fun look at weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Davriel.
Thanks, Godfrey. Eleuthera was recently awarded the 2023 Destination Resilience Award by the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association. Visitor arrivals are up and airlift has increased. Here to talk about this boom is Kerry Fountain, Executive Director of the Bahama Islands Promotion Board. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. So how has Eleuthera rebounded post-COVID, and why is there such a boom happening there now?
Susan, just remember.
Sorry, I'm Gabrielle.
So Gabrielle, I'm sorry. I'm answering the person who sent me the question.
Yes, sorry. Susan is our producer. She's fantastic.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
No problem.
But good morning. Good morning, Gabrielle. But just remember, when you're talking to me, you're talking to the executive director of the Bahamas Islands Promotion Board. And I always like to start out by saying that because I speak for my members, which generally tells the tale of how the island is doing. And just a little bit about the Bahamas Islands Promotion Board. We're a hotel marketing association comprised of approximately 35 hotels scattered across 10 different islands. But getting back to your question regarding Eleuthera, what we're seeing for the main island of Eleuthera, with our member hotels, we're having what I call an inventory opportunity. Some of the rooms are out of commission due to some long-term leases. So in terms of room nights sold, and our benchmark here, our record year is 2019. So we have been comparing 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023 to what we did in 2019. But for Eleuthera, when you look at room nights sold, we're down a bit again because of inventory opportunities with long-term leases of rooms. But on the flip side, in terms of room revenue, and those are our two key performance indicators, room nights sold and room revenue. But in terms of room revenue, we're about 99% of where we were January through June in Eleuthera. As far as Harbor Island is concerned, because they do come together, Harbor Island is pacing about maybe 14 to 17% ahead of 2019 in terms of room nights sold and also room revenue. So we are seeing definitely an uptick in Eleuthera, and we feel it's due to still pent-up travel demand, but also the beautiful beaches and the waters that we offer, and the people that reside and work on the island of Eleuthera and Harbor Island.
This isn't hard for me to believe because Eleuthera has a very, very special place in my heart. I love to visit as often as I can. But tell me about the significance as it relates to this specific award and what that means for the island of Eleuthera in the context of the Caribbean, not just the Bahamas.
Yeah, the Destination Resilience Award, that was given to the Bahamian Island. And then I want to stress Bahamian Island because Eleuthera is not an island in and of itself. It's in the Bahamas, so it also speaks to what we're attempting to get done throughout the islands of the Bahamas in terms of sustainability. But the award was given to us awarded to us by the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association back in May at Caribbean Travel Marketplace, which was held in Barbados. And it recognized the commitment of the Bahamas in general, and the commitment of Eleuthera more specifically in terms of sustainable tourism, regenerative tourism. And you had some businesses working, of course, public-private sector, but some businesses were cited for what it is that they're doing on Eleuthera, particularly so the Cape Eleuthera Institute, the school at Cape Eleuthera, and then also the center, the CTI, Center for Training, CTI, Center for Training Institute, which is down in the Rock Sound area. So all of those entities were responsible for Eleuthera obtaining this award.
Absolutely. Our Deputy Director General, Kenneth Romer, said that Eleuthera is among global leaders when it comes to recovery as a destination. What do you think that has made Eleuthera so resilient?
First and foremost, I have to mention the many, many beautiful beaches of Eleuthera. One need only, when visiting, jump in a car, and every time you have the opportunity to turn off the main road, just venture along the coastline, and then you'll see why our visitors are attracted to Eleuthera in the first place. But I have to give kudos to the people of Eleuthera. And when I talk about the people of Eleuthera, I talk about Thomas Sands and his family down in Rock Sound. You have Captain Justin down at the Cape, doing what he does best. You have folks like John McCarty, Carlton Russell, Ben Simmons. These are all can get it done people. And I think that speaks to the resilience of Eleuthera.
I love that. A few airlines have actually added flights to Eleuthera, just echoing the fact that airlift has increased. What are those flights and what markets do they serve?
Thank goodness, American Airlines just announced last week that it will be providing service commencing on February 3rd. I think it's Tuesdays and Saturdays from Miami to Governor's Harbor. Wow. But American also services North Eleuthera. Services North Eleuthera from Miami and Charlotte, North Carolina. Then you have Delta Airlines, which provides frequent service, and they cut the service, as you would guess, when there is no peak demand. But Delta provides service from Atlanta to North Eleuthera. Silver Airways provides service from Fort Lauderdale to North Eleuthera and Governor's Harbor, by the way, on a seasonal basis. And just recently, Silver Airways announced that they will be offering or started service from Orlando directly into North Eleuthera. And then you have the smaller carriers. Even though they're small, they make mighty contributions, like Makers Air out of Fort Lauderdale Airport, Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport, rather. And then also Aztec Airways out of Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport. And then and we cannot discount the contributions that our domestic carriers make out of Nassau, spearheaded or led by Bahamas Air. And that is so important. Just a couple of weeks ago, JetBlue announced that they will be flying directly from Los Angeles once a week into Nassau. On the heels of that, Alaska Airways announced that they would be providing service 4 days a week from Los Angeles and 3 days a week from Seattle. And I say that because the domestic partners, the Flamingos, the Pineapples, definitely Bahamas Air, those are so important, whilst we value and want to beat our chests about the non-stop service that we get from the international markets, we need to continue to work on accessibility via Nassau. And so opportunities like the Los Angeles flight, Seattle flight, it just gives us, it opens up that market and flying via Nassau to the out islands. And then when we start talking about what is on the drawing board, as you know, the government, but I think it was sometime last year, announced the development of the 14 new airports. Once Eleuthera is developed, once Governor's Harbor is developed, once Rock Sound is developed, from north to south, in addition to the service that we have now into North Eleuthera, what we see on the drawing board is one-day service nonstop from New York and perhaps even Toronto, Canada. And then as far as Governor's Harbor is concerned, I shared with you, American is now flying twice a week, or as of February 3rd. Silver is flying to Governor's Harbor once a week, that is every Saturday on a seasonal basis. So the future for Governor's Harbor is getting more frequent service, daily service from Miami with American, from Fort Lauderdale with Silver Airways. And definitely once Roxanne opens up, let's start off with Miami. We will start off with Miami. We will start off with Fort Lauderdale. So that is what we have now. And as the airports open up, that is the plan to add more flights.
I love all of the opportunities. I'm a little jealous because a year ago, I want to say, I actually got married in Eleuthera, and we had to make some long road trips because I got married in Palmetto Point, but all my folks who were coming in from the U.S. had to come in through North Eleuthera. So I'm so happy to hear that there is going to be international flights, available from Roxanne. Obviously, again, Eleuthera is growing.
As soon as the airport is ready.
Yeah, the Eleuthera is growing by leaps and bounds, and something that's a huge role in that is word of mouth. So what are the things that tourists have been saying about Eleuthera that makes it so special?
And in answering your question, I am quoting the latest published visitor exit surveys that's produced by the Bahamas Ministry of Tourism, Investments, and Aviation. But what do visitors, and let's start off with the top 3 or 4 compliments. What are visitors saying about Eleuthera? Number one, and I mentioned this earlier, they love our beaches. They also love the water. And they also love the people of Eleuthera. And that is what those top 3 reasons. Those are the reasons that keep folks coming back again and again to the island of Eleuthera. And not just only, as you may know, or as you know, not only as visitors, but we're finding more and more visitors are coming down to Eleuthera, falling in love with it, and then wanting to invest in a second home. I just read in an article last week, I think it was in one of the dailies, where the demand for real estate on Eleuthera now is at an all-time high. And you can also see it, and you know, when we talk about the popularity of Eleuthera, the compliments for Eleuthera, we usually talk about visitors. But you know, more and more Bahamians are starting to invest in the business, in the tourism business on the island of Eleuthera, building their own second home, and trying to take advantage of the tourism golden goose. And then you're also seeing, particularly so down south, with the Jacks Bay initiative and also the Cotton Bay, you're seeing now foreign direct investment becoming more and more interested in Eleuthera. And as we build, you're going to see more direct service.
Well, we are still.
And then on the flip, Gabrielle, I just wanted to say on the flip side, because I have to say this. On the flip side, I talk about the compliments. Some of the major complaints that we get has to do with how pricey it is. Also, slow service. And we have, and you would see this, we have issues with litter throughout the island. And then another thing is visitors are telling us, because the demographic profile of our visitors to the out islands or family islands in general, it's becoming a little bit younger. And so what baby boomers used to want to do, go to bed early and get up early, well, because we're now starting to appeal to a younger generation, they're complaining that our restaurants and our bars are closing too early.
They want to hang out and have late night vacations. So that's definitely
not necessarily late night and partying, but
they just want
just a little later.
A little more excitement to add to their vacation.
Yeah, and that's where it started. Yeah, and so I think our hoteliers have to listen to that and then see how they can best get around that or best offer what it is that the customers are asking for.
Well, I mean, those are some excellent points for what we are doing well, and that's some excellent information on the ways that we can grow. But we are so grateful that Eleuthera, despite the odds, is winning this Resilience Award because it is a fantastic destination. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
You're quite welcome, Gabrielle.
Well, we do have to go to our break right now, but thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for sharing this information. I'm sure we're going to have you back soon to tell us even more about what's happening with the Bahamas Out Island Sport.
Thank you so much for being such a bubbly host.
Thank you, too. You're watching
Okay.
Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back. Hey, Mom. Can you look after Kaylee?
Sorry, I'll be out for a while dealing with my home and car insurance.
What? You know there's a newer way, right?
A new way?
Where have you been? Look, go to newerinsurance.com, log in, get your quote, buy your insurance, done. You can even use it to manage a claim.
Oh? By the way, it's not newer. It's N-U-A. Where's she been?
Do it anyway with NUA Insurance Agents and Brokers.
Meet Leno, your bridge to the future. Wealth planning, investments, corporate services, trust services, pension administration, fund administration, outsourced accounting, and payroll. When you think of financial solutions, think of Leno. Local or international, company or individual, Leno can help. Our team of skilled professionals has the experience and expertise needed for you to strive. Your goals are our goals and our priority. Leno will guide you to the right financial solution with the knowledge, resources, and support you need. Give us a call at 242-396-3225 or email us at info@lenobahamas.com to get started. Visit our website, www.lenobahamas.com, for more information today. Leno, your bridge to the future.
One thing, two things, blue thing, all things, things that are small, things that are grand, things that fit just right in the palm of your hand. Fox Hill Nursery, a large selection of garden supplies. If you can see it in your mind, you can find it at Fox Hill Nursery.
Welcome back. Our next guest is of the view that the Bahamas has the potential to be truly one of the greatest countries in the world, and he's keenly aware of what's going on in our economy. This is Hubert Edwards, principal of Next Level Solutions and chair of the Organization for Responsible Governance Economic Development Committee. Good morning, and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning, Barbara. It's certainly a pleasure to be here.
So we just celebrated 50 years of independence. How can the Bahamas at 50 achieve economic dignity for the majority of the population?
How can the Bahamas achieve economic dignity? Well, economic dignity is actually an economic term, type of a thinking, which says that individuals, regardless of who you are, regardless of your circumstances, including persons who are not enabled as us, disabled individuals, regardless of where you find yourself in life, you are able to work and to contribute to the economy, and you're able to live a life which is dignified. Mm-hmm. And so we see that term coming out of the United States for the most part. There's an individual, his name slipped me at this point in time, but he has a book on the topic. He's a Democrat, a democratic progressive, and he speaks about the ability for the state to facilitate persons. So when you think about issues like an individual being able to get into a building, when persons are challenged and they're able to get first, second, and third chances because the system is built like that. So when you look around the Bahamas, we kind of, either you get it right the first time or you're done. We do not necessarily have a system which facilitates growth and development of the human capital to a large extent. You know, the brilliant people will always be at the forefront, those who are well connected, those who have the resources, but economic dignity speaks about being broad-based and ensure that we capture everybody. And I think the Bahamas at 50 needs to put more work and more effort into that. I've noticed that the Prime Minister, Honorable Brave Davis, have been speaking about this, well, initially in his administration, he spoke about this quite a bit to kind of tamper down now, but I believe that really in this, the second leg of the transition to the next 50, I would like to see more of that be on the forefront, yeah.
Yeah, that is truly just an important ideal for every country, not even just the Bahamas. The United Nations Council for Trade Development recent World Investment Report revealed that FDI inflows attracted by the Bahamas last year marked a 6-year high. What makes us attractive to investors, and what more can be done?
Well, the Bahamas is attractive because it's a settled country. There is significant value to be gained because the dollar is on par with the United States. You do not have, you know, riots and all of that sort of thing happening. But when you look across the Bahamas, when you look across, you were just talking about the Out Island development. When you look across the Bahamas, there's a lot of green field. There are places which have not been invested in. There are opportunities where persons are seen from the outside and they want to come in and, you know, get above average return. One of the other things which is driving that is that government gives really, really healthy concessions. It is said that these concessions are also available to local persons. The challenge with that is always, if you don't have the money to invest, you won't be able to access the concession. But that aside, the environment in the Bahamas suggests, and the numbers suggest that if you are willing to come into the Bahamas and invest, you can do pretty well. We see you know, big investments like Bahamas, we saw before that, Atlantis, and any number of those which are springing up around the country. And so the Bahamas remain, I think, significantly attractive to outsiders. Now, sometimes we here look at it and say, there's nothing happening. The truth is, when you have access, when you have information, and when you are in a position to garner those concessions, it changes the game significantly. The numbers which were recently released shows that only the Dominican Republic, which is a much broader economy, more diversified than the Bahamas, they were the only ones ahead of the Bahamas. And so that augurs well for us. It signals that the Bahamas is a good place to be.
You mentioned this, and I think there is a perception that certain concessions only exist for foreign investors rather than Bahamians who are in business and want to invest in the economy. Can you talk, if you are able, about what some of those concessions are that people are able to take advantage of?
Well, no, it's not true. I can't necessarily drill down in all of the specifics. What I know for sure that it is not true. The same concessions which are available to foreign entities are available to local entities. The problem is access to capital. When you have the ability to put before government a $100 million proposal, it changes the game. Now, as far as the concessions are concerned, I think there are two sides to this coin. Sometimes I believe the Bahamas is too generous in its concession, and consequently there are too many things being given into the future, and what we end up with is, yes, investment, but we lose our taxation in the long run, and we end up with jobs. And so, you know, I know that a person who wants to start a hotel, a small hotel or a restaurant, local person, they can go and they can get all of these concessions just like anybody else. So we need to kind of change that narrative, but also we need to pay attention to why locals may not be accessing, and that largely it's access to capital.
What would you say about the state of our economy post-COVID?
It's better. It's way better. I think I used the term recently that the consolidation is going well. The Bahamas is at a place where 2 years ago we really couldn't envision it would come back this quick, but it has rolled back significantly. The issue that we face right now, I think the consolidation or consolidating is maturing. And what that means is that at some point in time, it's going to get flat. We are at or just beyond pre-2019 numbers. The question, though, is can we get beyond that without doing any additional things? And that's where the work is. So we heard about initiatives and programs in the last budget. And so we are hoping that that is going to take us beyond that level. The impact of the port developments, which we are hearing in Family Islands and someplace here in Nassau. We're hoping that that takes us beyond. But there's still work to be done, significant amount of work to be done. We understand where we are as a country, but in the background lurks our big, massive debt, which is exerting significant influence and significant pressure on some of the decisions that we can make fiscally. And so, yes, we are back, and we should celebrate that because we were not in a good place. And so where we are now provides a foundation and an opportunity for policymakers to step back and say, how can we strategically leverage what is happening? How can we then move forward? But the bottom line is we need to look at the reforms. We need to fix the areas which are not working well. And of course, we need to continue to garner investment, foreign direct investment, but that needs to be balanced with domestic investment also.
An increase in taxes for cruise passengers was cited in the current budget, but is now being delayed until January. That money was already accounted for. How does that affect the new budget?
Well, in terms of quantity, I don't know the exact amount. I didn't go back and look at it. What I am concerned about is how many instances are there in the budget, things which were not carefully discussed with stakeholders, which might have to be delayed. Because the fact is, if it was counted in the budget and we are now delaying it for 6 months, that means the revenue is less than it ought to be. Will that significantly impact the deficit? I don't really think so. We are targeting a deficit of 0.9%. And I think there is room for flexibility there. If that became 1% deficit, it wouldn't change the game significantly. But what we are seeing is that there is discussions, and the oppositions are asking questions, and lobby groups are out there asking questions, and we see these suspensions. Now, if there are suspensions and there are going to be adjustments in other areas, and the budget, therefore, is going to maintain its integrity, then that's fine. But if we don't hit these numbers, I think it's so important, Davril, that we hit these numbers, because the budget we have today is by no means a perfect budget. But in terms of quantum and in terms of the trajectory which it communicates, is exactly where it needs to be. Anything which upsets that could send a bad signal to the international market, certainly the credit market, and we do not want to see that.
Well, Mr. Edwards, this sounds like we have an honest but optimistic picture as it relates to our financial future, and I feel smarter already. I'm sure that our viewers were happy to learn from what you shared this morning. Thank you for being on the show.
It's always a pleasure.
And thank you for watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back. Well, it has been another great show on Bahamas at Sunrise. We've talked to some incredible people who are doing excellent things, celebrating culture in our country, and of course, booming tourism, as well as just looking forward to a positive economic outlook. I hope that you tune in on Friday, and I hope that you make the most of your Monday and the rest of this week. Wishing you a great week.